Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly revolutionary, a new kind of tool that might just give scientists a superpowered lab partner. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could speed up your work, your insights, your big breakthroughs by 100 times? It sounds a little like science fiction, doesn't it? But it's the very real ambition behind a new wave of AI. So, where does this wild idea come from? This is the mission statement from a platform called the AI Scientist Agent. The whole point is to embed AI directly into the day-to-day grind of a research lab. And let me tell you, the ambition here is absolutely massive. Okay, so what is this thing really? Let's break down what we even mean when we say an AI lab partner. Right off the bat, this is not your average everyday chatbot. An AI Scientist Agent is a specialist. You can think of it like an AI that's already earned its PhD in a super specific field. It's been trained on the work of a top human scientist to help automate and just go faster on research in that one area. And check this out. See how each agent here is basically anchored to a real leading scientist? You've got Evo Fuel GPT, inspired by the Nobel Prize winner Francis Arnold and her work on enzymes. Then there's Neuroactuator GPT, which is modeled after Ed Boyden's incredible research in neuroscience. This is what's so important. The AI isn't just a generalist. It starts out with deep, world-class expertise baked right in. So that's the what. But what about the how? I mean, how does this system actually manage to do all this complex stuff? To get that, we need to peek under the hood at its architecture, what they call the AI hive. It all works through what's called a multi-agent system. So, a researcher asks a tough question. A central coordinator, the agent hive, figures out which specialist is right for the job and sends it over. Now, that agent doesn't just chat back. It actually does things. It can use tools, run Python scripts for data analysis or dig through scientific databases. And here's the crucial part. A second AI, the verifier agent, double-checks all the work for accuracy. It's like having a built-in peer review process before you ever see the final documented answer. And we're not just talking about a simple Q&A bot here. This is designed to be a whole lab ecosystem. We're talking about automating experiment management, finding hidden patterns in messy data, and even predicting future trends. You add in things like real-time collaboration and built-in safety checks, and it starts to look like the digital nerve center for an entire research team. Okay, but what really sets this apart from all the other AIs out there? And maybe more importantly, how does it keep super sensitive research data safe? Let's get into the tech and the security, the brains and the guardrails. Here is probably the best way to think about it. A general AI like ChatGPT is kind of like a massive library. It knows about pretty much everything. But an AI science agent, that's like having a full lab with its own dedicated research team. It doesn't just know about science, it can actually do science. It uses tools to analyze, to simulate, and to carry out these complex multi-step tasks that really mimic the scientific method. Now, if you're in a research environment, security is everything. It has to be. And this platform was built with that in mind. Access is super tightly controlled, all the data is constantly being checked for integrity, and a full audit log tracks every single thing the AI does, so it's all transparent. It even supports something called Bring Your Own LLM, which basically means a company can plug in its own private, secure AI model, and that's huge because it means sensitive data never has to leave their own secure system. This all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But what does it actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's walk through a real-world example to see how this can actually accelerate a discovery. So let's take a huge, urgent problem. Finding a sustainable alternative to those forever chemicals like PFAS. An AI scientist agent can attack this in stages. First, it can scan, decades of scientific papers to come up with hypotheses for new, sustainable polymer structures. Then, it uses analytical tools to see which of those ideas are actually promising based on existing data. And finally, it can run these incredibly complex molecular simulations to predict how the best candidates would actually work in the real world. All of this happens before a single physical gram of plastic is ever made in a lab. And this kind of workflow isn't just for finding new materials. You can apply the exact same principles to speed up drug discovery. helping scientists find the perfect data sets for their models. Or you could use it for environmental monitoring, tracking pollutants and even helping to suggest new policies. The possibilities are pretty vast.
So let's zoom out for a second. Where does all of this fit into the bigger picture? Let's take a quick look at how automated science has been evolving.
This timeline really shows that we are at a fascinating turning point. Automating science itself isn't totally new. Back in 2009, there was a robot scientist named Adam that was automating physical lab experiments. But what's happening now, today, is that we're starting to automate the cognitive part of research, the thinking, the planning, the analysis. And that is a huge step toward a future where AI is a genuine partner, helping us tackle our biggest scientific challenges. And that really brings us to the single most important point of all of this. This is not about replacing scientists. It's about making them better, faster, more powerful. The whole goal is to keep the human expert in the driver's seat, using these incredible tools to augment their own creativity and intuition. It's a partnership, plain and simple. So, I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. If you had a tireless, brilliant AI partner in your corner, one that could run 1,000,000 simulations for you, or read every scientific paper ever published on your topic, what great discovery would you want to make?